Hey guys, my name is Zan. This video is gonna have kind of a little bit more of a serious topic to it. A little less joking, just a little less joking. And I'm gonna introduce the topic to you, and then I'm going to give you background on how this came about and why I felt the need to do a video on it, and then we're gonna actually talk about the topic itself. So, I felt like this would be an appropriate video for me to wear my hijab in because this came about because I wear hijab. So be educated on something before you form an opinion on whatever the thing is. So Joseph's family, Joseph is my boyfriend, his family is not used to seeing headscarves in any capacity, any kind of hair covering, not even just necessarily headscarves, but just any kind of hair covering. And he's got some family that are pretty Islamophobic. And they don't hide it. They don't even try to hide it, and especially not when I'm around. So this past weekend, which was Mother's Day weekend, we had gone to a family function where it was really informal. We just had food together, and it was Joseph and his family, his siblings and his parents, his aunt and her son, and one of his cousins showed up, and of course his grandmother and his grandfather, whom we call Nana and Papa. So, since I've been in and around the family, some of them haven't taken very well to me wearing hijab. Specifically, one of his cousins, not the one that showed up at the function, and his grandfather. So, every time I'm around the family, Papa always makes a comment to me about, take that thing off your head, or something similar. And every time I tell him no, I do it as politely as I possibly can without sounding patronizing or rude. And he always ends up getting really mad at me that I tell him no. He is also very sexist, very misogynistic, but that's a discussion for another time. So when we were at this family function, Papa made a comment to me about, take that thing off your head. And I, again, I can't remember if I said no or no thank you or I don't think so. I don't quite remember my wording on it, but I remember, and Joseph vouched for me on this, that I was rather polite in my tone of voice, because sometimes I can't always hear my tone of voice really well when I'm the one speaking, so I always have to check with other people, did I sound rude or anything like that. But Joseph says that he felt like I was very respectful, very polite in my tone of voice when I said no or no thank you or whatever it was that I said. And Papa turned to Joseph's mom, who is his daughter, who was sitting next to him, and was like, did she just tell me no? And I looked up at him and I said, yeah, I did, and went right back to what I was doing. So Papa doesn't talk to me all that much, which I'm fine with. He's kind of a cranky old guy, so I'm okay with that. I'm not here to cause trouble or anything with the family. So when we all kind of dispersed and Joseph and I had to go home because we had some chores that we had to do and stuff like that, couple days later, Joseph went over to Nana and Papa's house to visit, and Papa made some comments to Joseph about it, about, I don't like that thing that she wears, and, I see images on the news of women that are forced to wear this thing that blow up our men that are overseas, and stuff like that. And basically Joseph felt like he was sort of equating it to me being a terrorist, and that really upset Joseph. So that's kind of what is inspiring me to do this video on be educated about something before you form and voice an opinion on it. There is nothing worse in this world than an uneducated opinion. I had a lot of my family, specifically like my parents and especially my dad, and I had a lot of, discussions about why I wear it and what it means and why other people wear it and what it means to Muslims, who are most often the ones that are seen wearing it and stuff like that. And there's a lot of uneducated misconceptions about hijab in our world because of the images that our news outlets show of terrorism and things like that that go on in other parts of the world and in our world, in our country. So there's a lot of uneducated opinions just running rampant about stuff like this. So it's really, really important to do your research, do your learning about things before you form an opinion. I recently did a video on person first versus identity first language when talking about people with disabilities. And I went into that whole thing about, I did a lot of research before I formed my own opinion on it and gave that opinion to you guys in that video. I do that on pretty much everything. If I'm encountering something new, I don't just, I have my initial reactions to the thing, and that's okay, but I oftentimes will go and research what the thing is or what it means and stuff like that before I will go and voice my opinion. And there's nothing wrong with if somebody says, hey, how do you feel about ... There's nothing wrong with you saying, I'm not so familiar with the topic. I'll have to do more research before I can give you an opinion, and then just leave it at that. Excuse me. If the person is like really hounding you and really pushing you about like, well, just, what do you think? What do you think? And you have to be firm in saying, I don't know very much about it. I'm not going to form an opinion before I do my research. That's really super important, especially when we live in a world where there is so much conflicting information about things. There's so much debate and argument and pro-cons, all of this stuff. So do your research, listen to both sides first before you form your own opinion. An uneducated opinion is the worst thing in this world. Having an educated opinion on something is golden. Beautiful, perfect, have an educated opinion. If you've educated yourself really seriously on what these things are and you're open to all different viewpoints on the subject, then whatever your viewpoint is, there's going to be people that's going to disagree with you no matter what. So just be educated. Don't fall into the trap of being spoon-fed information. Think critically, use your noggin. It was given to you for a reason, whether you believe in one God that created all or many gods that created, or, whatever your belief is or non-belief is on anything. You have a noggin for a reason, use it. So, with that, that's my little soapbox rant. I hope that, that'll be sort of helpful for you guys, especially those of you who are still getting, rather new to the idea of that it's okay to do your own research and form your own opinions on things. So anyway, if you guys have questions or comments, drop me a little blurb in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.